Hi everyone, I'm Fumika and
I'm Chris.
so in the last video we talked about language acquisition in Japanese, but in this video we are talking about cultural difference between the UK and Japan in English.
Yes.
What was the biggest cultural difference between Japan and the UK?
The biggest difference I felt, like I've said before, is the humidity. So I came out of Kansai airport, like, what is this? Oh my god. So that was big. Cultural difference, there were many that I felt. The first time I went to a shop, I felt like the customer service was really professional.
It is, yes.
Like,
That's crazy, isn't it?
yeah,
like I feel like it's too much.
I think, yeah, it can be stressful, right, for people.
Yeah,
doing
exactly.
customer service.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think because here in the UK, you see a lot more people who are more relaxed and maybe just using their phone at the desk sometimes and like, yeah, go on ahead, yeah. But in Japan, that wouldn't happen. It's just like,
Like when I go back to Japan, I kind of get surprised every time. Like, once I got used to this, European style.
Culture shock when you go
Yeah,
back.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I'm like, wow.
Yeah. Seriously, I had the same thing when I came back to England as well. I came back in the end of July, so when I came back here, I had a huge shock.
Yeah.
So yeah.
How people are chill here.
Yeah, people are chilled here, no masks, and like again, customer service. It's very different. Yeah, people don't have that kind of honne and tatemai. You don't have that in England really. So another one would be how clean everything was. Not anything on the streets. There are some places that I think might be dirty, of course, but most places absolutely clean.
Yeah.
Also, there's so many things.
Yeah, so many things.
Yeah, how traffic network and the subway, the trains are so efficient. They run on time.
Yeah.
Well, Hokkaido in the winter, if it snows, they can have problems, but the subway is never late.
Right, that's true.
Because in England here,
Yeah, public transportation suck.
it sucks.
The Bristol buses are so bad. Like, it's never on time.
Yeah, I don't like it.
I kind of got used to it, and I don't expect they will be on time, but still, it's stressful.
Yeah, there's so many things. One more thing I want to say about, so I love Japanese food, but when I went to Japan, I really couldn't find a bad restaurant. I think in England, if you get unlucky, you can find some not nice restaurant, disgusting, not nice. I don't want to speak too bad of my own country, but yeah, Japan, it was hard to find a bad restaurant.
True.
So
Yeah, that's true.
yeah, what did you think about like the UK? The food, is it all disgusting?
I mean, well, lots of people think like food in the UK, like British food, it's really bad, but it's actually not nowadays. I think.
I don't think it is. No, not nowadays.
Like there are lots of like nice restaurants. It's very diverse, so you can get like all sorts of food, and they're all nice. Like some are like just a bit boring, like fish and chips, just fried fish and chips.
Yeah,
But
all brown.
all around, like it's hard to get like some veggies if you are not conscious about it.
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah, but still, they're all good. But the thing is, like in Japan, you can get really good food for cheap price.
You can, yeah.
Yeah, but here, even if you pay like £10, £12, sometimes it's bad, and maybe small. I don't know. Like the quality for the price is not. Very.
No good value for money.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, one thing I really love about the UK, especially Bristol, is like you said, a variety of food. Like there's Moroccan food, Indian food, Mexican food, all around this area as well. It's fantastic.
Yeah.
So like having that variety of food is so good.
Yeah,
I really love it. So I'm really happy to be back here and eat. I love food.
Yeah.
If you couldn't tell already, I love food. So, yeah.
Yeah, Japan has good food and also very cheap. That's a good thing.
Yeah.
I think. Like those kind of like chain restaurants, like Skia or like Saizeria, like Otoya, like they're all good and still cheap.
Yeah.
It's something I miss here. You know, like you cannot get that quality of food for, 700円とか800円 around £5-ish. It's impossible.
No, you can't.
So yeah, I miss that.
But you can get meal deals here.
What?
Meal deals
Meal
here,
deals.
yeah. So they're not that delicious, but they're £3.50
Oh, they're
usually.
cheap. Yeah.
Yeah, or can be as expensive as £3.90. So
Yeah.
you can get like a sandwich and like a snack like crisps or like a chocolate bar and a drink, £3.50. So there is that, and there's a lot of people who buy that a lot.
It's affordable.
It's affordable, so
Yeah.
people buy that. But yeah, I think you're right. It's especially going to restaurants.
Yeah.
It's very expensive. So,
Yeah, that's true. Another thing for me is the way of communication is different, I think. I don't know, like maybe it's just me, but like when you meet someone new in Japan, you need to be like polite, quiet kind of, and it's almost like you're a different person. And then like you take time to open up.
Yeah.
But here, I feel like I have to show myself more, and I have to be friendly and sometimes even funny.
Yeah.
That's something I find difficult here.
It's so difficult. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it's just so different, isn't it? I'll tell you a story actually about that. One of my good friends, I actually met on the bus at a bus stop.
Oh wow.
Because in Japan that probably couldn't ever happen. Right? Just like if you met someone for the first time, it's kind of hard to meet people if you're in work, I think, isn't it?
No.
There's not many chances to go and meet new people. But my best friend Mike, we were at a bus stop, and we just started talking.
Yeah.
And then we got on the bus and we were just talking about life and stuff. And then I said, okay, well, like, let's go out for a drink sometime. We knew each other for an hour, and we were talking about our lives and stuff. So I think that's quite cool. I think.
Yeah.
But maybe it's very hard for people to get used to if they're not used to this culture. I think. So.
Like especially like in networking, it's really hard for me. Like you have to be really outgoing, social person.
Yeah.
And I don't know. It's just maybe me, but I find it difficult.
Maybe it's not only you, but I think you're a very social person. I think you can do it. Yes. Yeah. You can talk. You talk well, and you're friendly. You have that kind of friendly persona about you. So, yeah. But still, it must be again difficult for people who are not from England to get into that kind of culture. Like, oh my God. Okay. I don't need to be super polite. I don't need to be so careful. So, there's one thing I wanted to ask you. Japanese, of course, has different levels, right? So, of course, you have like keigo, kinjo, or sonkeigo, all that. So you have to be careful. But in England, is that kind of hard for you? For example, if you talk to your boss, is it kind of hard for you to like know? Do you think about what should I say and should I be careful?
Yeah, sometimes it's hard. Like for example, my manager, we talked about Totoro, my neighbor Totoro.
Oh, did you?
And like then now in London they have a musical, like Totoro musical.
Oh, really?
I talked about it to my manager, and she was like, "Oh, like let's go watch it together." And I was like, "Well, we are quite close to each other, but like we are not friends." So I was like, not very comfortable with that.
That happens though. Yeah, that's really cool. Yeah, I thought it might be quite difficult. It's like, imagine in Japan, like the boss says, "Yeah, let's go out together. Like, let's go to the cinema." Like, okay. Oh, should I? Is that okay? Yeah.
Yeah, that's also the thing. So that's also why like it's hard to meet someone new. Like when that person is older than me. Like when that person is a lot older than me, I don't know how to communicate with that
Yeah.
person. I
Yeah.
know how in Japanese, but
Yeah.
not in English.
Yeah.
Like, you know, you can be just friendly, but like my Japanese part just block it. It's just so weird to me.
That's really interesting that
Yeah.
you feel that, yeah. Maybe there's many other people that feel the same way living in England. So, yeah, that's interesting.
Yeah, I talked about this with my Japanese friend who has a British boyfriend, and I also have a British partner, and then we had this same feeling about calling their parents with first name.
Okay.
It's not gonna happen in Japan. Like call your partner's parents by their first names. It's so
Yeah,
weird.
Yeah. Yeah.
So like, first time I met my partner's parents, my partner said like, oh, call them David and Louis, and I was like,
Yeah.
just it feels so wrong.
Yeah. Like, oh my God.
Yeah.
Yeah. I had a similar experience in Japan when I had a Japanese partner before as well. And I went to meet them once, but I didn't really want to say their name because I didn't want to make a mistake. Like, I knew their first name and stuff, but yeah, I tried my best to only use the family name because I was still learning Japanese at that point anyway. I was really worried. I just really didn't want to be rude.
Yeah.
So I was like, they're my partner's parents, so I should really be polite, and they're letting me into their house, and you know, how can I be so polite? I can't call them by their first name, and yeah.
So how did you feel about being gaijin in Japan?
Well, it was okay. I mean, from the very beginning, I knew I was obviously never going to be Japanese, so I was always, you know, English, British.
No.
And because of that, I didn't really have any problems. So there are of course some problems with, you know, living in Japan, I think, as being a foreign person.
Yeah.
Like getting an apartment was very, very, very hard and that kind of stuff. Yeah, like to be honest, I didn't really have many negative experiences being like a gaijin in Japan. Probably a good thing, I think.
Yeah, that's a good thing.
Yeah, I think there's a few people I've met who I think they really wanted to kind of fit in, they really wanted to fit into Japanese society and be Japanese essentially, which is great. But I think those people struggled the most because they just couldn't really fit in that much.
Right.
Because, I mean, their Japanese was amazing, way better than mine, and you know, they learned it since they were younger as well, and they lived in Japan for a long time. And even if you do all those things, you're not going to be Japanese, really. I think you're never going to be Japanese. So. As long as you like accept that and live there, it's totally fine, I think.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's good. That's a good point. I was kind of struggling with that.
Oh, did you?
Like, you know, being Asian in European countries, you will never fit in. You know, you will never be, you know, British or whatever. But also, like, we want to fit in the society. But again, like, I'm Asian, and you know, it's just, I think it's different for people from other European countries, or like people at least look alike, you know, look like,
Okay, yeah.
like, you know, look like British people.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know, I sometimes struggle with that.
Struggle, yeah.
But also, like, as you said, I need to accept that. That's true.
I think you can fit in more in the UK. I think that's one thing I think the UK has done really well, or has a good society of like people. There's many people from different ethnicities and races here in the UK, and they are thought of as British. So even if you know they're Asian or black, you know, they're born here, so they're thought of as British.
Yeah.
There are some people that might not think that. You know, there's some people that say like, okay, but where are you really from? like no, before that kind of thing. But that's seen as very rude here.
Yeah.
So that's kind of good, I think. You don't necessarily have to be like white anymore to be British. So I think that's important in society, I think. So, yeah.
It's really important to accept that, like, if it's kind of your identity, you know, where you're from and then what kind of ethnicity you are. Yeah.
Yeah, I think, although of course I would always be a foreign person in Japan, I need to accept that. I still feel like because I've loved Japan for such a long time, I've studied Japanese for 6 years now. I lived in Japan, of course. I feel like part of me, I wouldn't say part of me is Japanese, but I have that. As a part, Japan is a part of me in a way.
Yeah.
It's kind of hard to explain. So I don't necessarily want to be Japanese person, but yeah, it's kind of a weird feeling. I have English part of me and Japanese part of me.
Yeah.
So
Maybe it's also because you lived there for that long time.
yeah,
So yeah.
could be that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you feel the same way? Like, do you have that kind of British identity and Japanese identity? Yeah.
Not really. It's been only 1 year and 3 months, so maybe it's still too short to feel that way.
Could be. Yeah.
But probably that makes sense, right? Like if you spend more time in that country, you will get to know more about their culture, and you will get more like memories.
Yeah.
So like you just take them as a part of you eventually, I think.
You do, yeah. I think for me at least, probably, well, I'm 29 now, but some of the best memories in my life, my adult life, were in Sapporo, in Japan.
Yeah.
And like, I did a lot of adult things for the first time in Japan as well, like go on an apartment by myself and stuff. So I think that might be a big reason.
Yeah,
So,
that makes
yeah.
sense.
Yeah, it's interesting.
Yeah.
Yes.
What do you think living abroad?
I think it's important. I really do. Living in the same country all of your life is okay for some people, but I think there's so many other countries out there. There's so much out there. To me, it feels like a complete waste to just live in the same place all your life, never try living outside of your country.
Yeah.
Living abroad teaches you so much. It sounds kind of like a cliche that I think that everyone says, but you learn way more living abroad than you maybe do living in your own country.
Yeah.
You make more friends, you
Yeah.
become more international. You learn more about different ways of thinking.
Yeah, that's true.
And that really, really helped me personally, because you probably don't believe it at all now, but I used to be quite shy when
I
I was
was
a
as
teenager.
well.
You were as well?
Yes.
We were similar then.
Yeah.
But, yeah, when I was a teenager, I was so shy, and like, the thing is, in the UK, people will tell you, like, you need to be more social, you need to go out more and meet people, and, you know, you can't just spend loads of time by yourself. But when I went to Japan, there were a lot of shy people.
Yeah.
And not only that, but the society is kind of built around shy people. It's good for shy people. There's lots of things for shy people. So it taught me that, you know, it's completely okay to be shy. I don't have to force myself to get out there. I think it's good to be social and talk to people. It's still very important, I think, but, you know, I'm still shy, and I still need to be in a place, or I need to know that it's okay to be shy, and
Yeah.
you know, basically what I'm saying is you meet people who have all these different ideas, and they see all these different things as normal, as obvious,
Yeah.
things that aren't normal and obvious to people in the UK. So yeah.
Yeah, I feel the same way. Like, as I said, I was quite shy before. I still am, but you know, it was like a different level. And I have lived in 6 countries, and my first country to live like abroad was Taiwan.
Yeah, yeah.
And yeah, like I met like lots of people from all over the world, and that changed me. Like I had to be social.
Yeah. Yeah.
And also like meeting people is very like, as you said, like you learn a lot. So I really enjoyed it in Taiwan. And since then I traveled a lot and also lived, in some other countries. And every time I go back to Japan, my brother says like, "Oh, you have been changed a lot." And I feel that too. Yeah.
Oh, that's interesting. I think for me, my family don't think I've changed much because the thing is, when I get home, when I'm at home, I kind of turn off. I go into shy mode. I don't talk so much.
Yeah.
I do my own thing. I like study because I study a lot anyway every day.
Yeah.
I just go home and study. I don't really socialize much.
Yeah.
So because of that, I haven't really changed from their perspective. I don't think. But I think inside I have changed a lot. So maybe it's similar feeling to you, maybe.
Yeah,
like you've changed a lot.
I'm still like that. Like I really like being alone and do my own stuff. But like for example, YouTube, it's like completely different. Like if I did an experience living abroad, definitely this never happened. Like having my own YouTube, talking in front of camera, talking to someone like this.
Yeah.
I'm still not comfortable with this, like being in front of the camera. I want to be behind the camera, but but still, like it's because I have met lots of people, and I know meeting new people, meeting someone from different background is it's just so fun, interesting.
It is.
So that's why I'm doing this, like talking with you, hearing different perspective. Yeah, it's just so fun. And like as you said, like you learn the different way of thinking.
Yeah, you do when you speak to many people. Like, that's how they think. That's how they live their life. That's really interesting. So, yeah, but that's also the same reason that I wanted to join in the video as well, because wanted to talk to people from, of course, with you, of course, you've got a lot of experience in different countries, living abroad, so.
But that's something I kind of feel ashamed about Japanese people. Like lots of Japanese people stay in Japan. It's because like Japan is on an island and also monoculture, so it's hard to get different way of thinking, which is fine. Like if people like living in Japan, obviously Japan is a great country and it's nice to live there. But also, I don't know. Personally, I feel that living abroad is definitely a big change and
I think so.
Good opportunity to know lots of things and also know yourself.
Yeah, you do.
Yeah.
And there's lots of good food out there in different countries. Yeah. Some amazing food out there. Europe and Asia, well, anywhere. So and you won't know what it really tastes like, the real thing tastes like, unless you get out there.
Yeah.
That's from me, the food man.
Nice chat.
It was good, thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Yes.
See you next time.
Bye everyone.
Bye.